Have you ever considered how much data you are transporting per hour in a network of such a vehicle? You may think about maybe a few bytes, whatever, but at the moment we estimate that we are talking about 25 gigabyte an hour to be increased up to 500 gigabyte an hour due to the fact that we have autonomous vehicle, autonomous driving, and that is coming soon. And what does it mean? I think it means that we have a huge potential to get attacked by, let's say bad people, so to speak. And if I see that it just takes 30 seconds, or that there is a probability that it just takes 30 seconds to steal a car without a key, then this is definitely something which concerns me. So what to do? I think we have a couple of let's say, key facts which we need to consider. One definitely is we need to have software in the car which is impervious to attacks. One. Second, we have to have car software which is safe for all stakeholders. And that really means all and not only the road user. You will see later when I talk about the TARA what this means. And last but not least, it also needs to respect your privacy. Nobody else than you should know where you are going to and what you are doing with your car. And of course, we all want features today and not tomorrow, which means the pressure on the software development is increasing. Luckily, the road authorities, the regulation bodies have considered this already since a couple of years, and since quite some time, or actually not quite some time, but since a few months, we have the cybersecurity regulation, the UN R155 in place, which is talking about requirements on cybersecurity management system, and this is due for new vehicle types from mid of this year onwards. And for legacy cars, it will be in 2 years from now. And we have, in addition, the ISO standard, the 21434, which is in place since August last year. And both together help you to, first of all, have the requirements what to do and how to incorporate this, how to set up your organization in order to work accordingly. And what can Polarion do for you with that? Polarion is currently being modified, or actually we are working on a template ready soon, which is able to help you exactly with that one, which helps you to implement the cybersecurity management, means to set up your organization in a way that you are compatible to the requirements. It provides you reports, and here especially live reports for your threat and risk assessment for the TARA, and type approval reports, which tells you if you are good to go for new type approvals at road authorities and something similar. And last but not least, we have threat detection. Threat detection is an important piece when it comes later on to continuous monitoring what you want to do, what you need to do, and if you are good to go also a couple of years after you produced your car. The development process is talking about, we have some requirements, we are implementing this in a way, we are breaking it down into manageable pieces, and we are verifying and validating this. And if we talk about Polarion, we usually talk about live docs who can be used for specifying things. We talk about implementing this with our plan views, and we talk about verifying this with our test runs. Underneath, we have the collaboration capabilities of Polarion, and everything ends up in our release, in our build, so that we get all the data together. Now moving forward to the cybersecurity stuff. It's really topic number one. Topic number one is really how can we enable an organization to have an overarching management system in place to really bring the organization, bring the project in a shape that it is working according to the requirements with regard to cybersecurity. If we now switch from development to cybersecurity, we have another project. And here our experts for cybersecurity management are supposed to work in. So these guys are then defining this cybersecurity item, and Polarion here really helps with defining this asset, defining this object and we have some guardrails implemented to help really doing the right things and not forget anything. For example, this questionnaire here, where we have 6 questions, and out of those, we determine, is it cybersecurity relevant, yes or no? In my example, it is. And if we do so, then automatically Polarion pulls, for example, a template for your planning documents. Of course, you can configure this. And as you can see here, it looks like Word, but it has everything predefined. You just need to enter the missing bits and pieces. And in order to really have the link between development and cybersecurity, we just use, again, our link capabilities, where we bring the item together with the release object, and by that have a connection, and by that really have, let's say, opportunities to later on run white spot analysis and something similar. So important to keep in mind here really is that Polarion is able to help you pretty fast with our templates to reuse information objects, to reuse, for example, all experience in order to not forget things. You save time because you do not need to find the things in different, let's say, mailboxes, SharePoint drives, and so on and so forth. And at the end, you have everything ready in an audit-safe manner, especially when it comes to audits. When we look now forward to the core of this cybersecurity analysis, which is the TARA, the threat and risk assessment, Polarion has the capabilities to report anything in an automated or kind of automated and real-time way. Also, since we have the connection to our development, we are also able to connect this to our requirements coming from the very first phases of the development. We have the opportunity really to see, are we good to go for type approval, or are we missing something? In my example here on the screen, we are missing a couple of %, which means we have change requirements, we have threats which are not yet finalized, and so we should first resolve them before we move on. So starting again with our cybersecurity template, where I now show how we use our, let's say, wizards, how we use our interactivity in order to help people to not be overwhelmed with a large spreadsheet, so that we really have a kind of guided way, that we have really people doing the right things and doing it at the right time. Whatever you see is configurable. If we have a damage scenario, as the one which I'm showing right now, buffer overflow. The buffer overflow may, if we talk about headlamp systems, it may impact a road user. Road user is impacted maybe from a safety point of view if you try to switch on your headlamp system by night quite severely, which means you have a severe safety impact. But what is about the OEM, the vehicle manufacturer? Also, this one has an impact, maybe not safety. I guess more the impact for the OEM is on a financial aspect, because if you are, or if it gets public that the switch for headlamp system can be hacked, which means it's a malfunction at the end. That also means that maybe not one car hits the tree, but maybe other cars as well, and this is a financial disaster. And if we go on with the video, we not only have the damages we need to consider, also here Polarion guides you with the threat scenarios, where you define, again, everything out of the box, be guided. You can reuse your information from previous TARAs, which are maybe in a library, that you really can save time, that you really can save the effort, and by that bring all together in the right way with the right settings. Once we have specified everything, so the damages, the assets, the threats, we come to the point that we need to use our lifecycle mechanism in order to see what kind of threat scenario is finalized in order to determine the risk treatment at the right point in time. So what we have seen here really is our attempt to have a low entry barrier for non-power users who at the same time want to reuse things, who need to edit the things, but who are, let's say, not overwhelmed with a spreadsheet where you have tons of columns, tons of rows in order to see all the data. So we try to really focus on the important things at the right time. And that combined with our real-time metrics and with our baseline and versioning option is really one thing which brings the TARA to a next level. So what we have done, we have been analyzing our software. We know how much risk we have. We know whether or not we need to change it. How do we ensure that we really have a continuous threat detection in order to always know we have an issue or not? And Polarion currently is teaming up with some of the world-class integration partners like Caramba Security, Cerbellum, and SAG. And all of them are helping us to deliver, in my use case here, the continual vulnerability analysis as a threat detection scanner, which helps us really to rerun, to retrigger the TARA. And here we use, in my example, Cerbellum as an example, as a vehicle. Cerbellum delivers us the software bill of material, so the structure, and together with this, also the vulnerabilities. So again, starting with the system, starting with our info places. Here we are in the development area where we have yet another, let's say, system view. And the system view is now fed by the connected packages or components. And I'm using one of our famous examples where everybody most likely heard about around Christmas, Log4j. And what I can tell you is Log4j, in my example, version 2.11.1, has 5 vulnerabilities. But I'm not only able to see all the details with regard to the components, I can also see all the details which have been analyzed by Cerbellum for our system. And if this is not sufficient, what we have integrated, what we have brought over, we can also have a look directly to Cerbellum, to the platform there, and have a look in the platform, what else they have from our data, what else they have analyzed. So not only the SBOM is important, I said already the vulnerabilities, and that's now the thing what I'm going to show with this report. So we have a where used report where I can again start with my vulnerability check on the component. So checking the component, same example, Log4j 2.11.1. Here again, there's 5 vulnerabilities. We are synchronizing this, as I said, from Cerbellum. We have all the data. And now consider, we have the data, we have the digital twin, so to speak, so the parent, and I can now combine every bit and piece with our link technology to really run comprehensive reports. So vulnerabilities, we know which digital twin is affected by that. And with this information, I'm able to go back to our development. I can connect the risk result. Are we let's say, are we having a high visibility, high potential, or low? And with this, I have then the decision matrix, which allows me to determine I have a critical vulnerability and what is the risk level connected to it. So what I've said now is we have the chance with this combination, development, risk analysis, and threat detection integration to really focus on the important things at the right time, and this really triggered in a continuous manner. Polarion is, first of all, supporting all your cybersecurity activities. So we have the combination to development, we have the combination with our risk assessment with our TARA, and we also have the integration to threat detection scanners. And with that, you can continuously or continually, depending on how often you want to do it, trigger the monitoring. And by that, you have then always a chance to take the right decisions at the right time. You have presented a cybersecurity solution for automotive. Can Polarion also help in other industries? Yes. Our aim is to start with automotive. Because here the pressure is really high due to the regulation issue from mid of this year on. But of course, this can be, let's say, configured in a way that this is also working for other industries like medical, aerospace, and so on. How do you configure the Tara in Polarion? Does it come as a default or with an extension? It's a template, a project template on its own. It will be made available on Polarion X initially, but we plan also to have this for the on-premise installations. And then it's the typical way we deliver an as ready as possible template for the ISO standard, and then we work together with you to make it really fitting to your process.